Ben, do you want to explain to everybody what just happened?
We were flying down the highway. Next thing I hear is all the hooks on our roof rack holding our cargo net down snap.
There's nothing up there anymore. We made it just 2 hours from Neenah. We're just south of Milwaukee now. I don't know if it was the heat or what, but all of them just started snapping. They're all plastic. That was a bad design. Something scraped the side of a car. Luckily, it was just a little smudge. Still wanted to go through the whole insurance fiasco, so police got involved. They finally just left. These are shoulders on both sides of the interstate, like the 3-foot concrete walls. All our stuff is somewhere back in that construction area. Just, I don't even know. And then I talked to a police officer and he said there's really nothing we can do. We can try to take one of the exits and see how close we can get, but it's literally, you know, walled in. Solar panels, cots, everything. Off to a good start. Back on the highway, just taking it slow, retracing our steps, so to speak, looking for all of our gear. I don't see it anywhere so far. Oh, there's a cot, there's a cot. That was part of the top. That was a solar panel. Oh, there's another cot. It's on the other cot. Dude, it got pulled off quick. Well, we finally made it to Cincinnati. I'm gonna give this guy a jump over here with this portable jump starter. It's really nice having one of these, especially to help people out.
Everybody asks that. That's a Nissan 300Z.
Let's try this out, see if we can get her running. My brother had a Nissan 280ZX, so I spotted this right away. It's burning now.
There got some 22s or 24s maybe. I don't even know what they are.
Your ground terminal, when I pulled this off, it came off. I put it back on to see how it's snapping. Alright man, well best of luck.
Yeah, I'm going to need it.
Alright, hope you make it there. Yeah, take it easy. We're gonna head over to Vic's place. You guys remember Vic? He bought my old J10 pickup truck, Jesse. So since we're heading out to the East Coast, we gotta go right through Ohio anyways. I figure let's stop, say hi to Vic, and check out Jesse. So we're heading out to Maine, and I knew we'd be going right through Ohio, and Vic is from Cincinnati. I hit Vic up and I said, I would love to see you and see Jesse, and be cool if we come hang out for a bit. So,
And here he is.
and here we are. So he's shown us a lot of support, letting us work in his driveway, and also fellow serviceman, retired firefighter. I mean, he's just an all-around pretty cool guy. So,
Well, thank you.
it worked out great. You know, the timing, you don't plan for random hiccups like this, and the timing is just whatever it happens to be. We had a place to come quick, make base camp pretty much, and we have a nice secure location for Jade and all our gear. And
I just feel honored you're here.
well, I don't know, he's been taking us around, showing us kind of some of the, you know, local spots. We got set up, so it's really nice. So, Vic, you're a good guy. That's part of one of the plastic clips. Another broke clip. Going through this thing, there's multiple that broke, and then actually part of the cargo net itself broke here, snapped, as you can see. I feel like if these were metal, it would have been fine, or maybe a large carabiner that could have wrapped around the bar of the roof rack. Having so many contact points though, it never even gave a hint that it was going to come off before, and it was in one split second, it was done skis. So definitely going to need to upgrade this. Something like that would work a lot better.
Yep.
Big old carabiner like that.
Yeah, let it clip right on there and you're good.
That'd be great. You can see right here, this is actually the corner of the tent. The last that held on for dear life. The next state that we're gonna head to is Maine. But before we do that, we're gonna need some of our supplies. So we were sleeping on the cots, we had the nice pup tent up here, and obviously we don't want our gear to get wet. There's a little delay in time when you order online, so I just wanted to get as much stuff as we could locally. We ended up stopping at a Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, and a military surplus store, and we were able to find and replace a few of those missing, lost, destroyed, damaged, mangled items that are on Interstate 41 south of Milwaukee. Some of the bigger items, like a complete best top soft top with full soft doors and windows, I don't know if I'm going to replace them right away. Some of you are probably thinking, well, you wanted to go bare bones, back to the Jeep life, no doors top lifestyle anyways. Hey, now's a perfect opportunity. When this whole incident went down, that's where my brain went, trying to be positive, like, we don't need the soft top anyways. We haven't put it on in over 2.5 months, 3 months probably now. That being said, there is a few steps I need to take to protect some of our gear from the elements. Another big loss that I'm not sure if I'm gonna replace right away was Jabba the tent, Jabba the Hutt. The big pop-up tent, it definitely felt like base camp once we got Jabba. Almost all of our gear is already in watertight containers. Did that on purpose with this new configuration. But there are a few items that need to get a little bit of work done to them to make them better suited for the elements. I do so much driving that after we find base camp, I'd rather go out and explore, do some adventuring, change it up a bit. So we got some Alice packs. They're water resistant, but we could help them out by putting some instant water repellent. This is supposed to add a protective layer to whatever you spray it on. The material they're made out of is supposed to be water resistant anyways. I figure give them extra coating. Doesn't hurt. If everything gets soaked, even with this on there, then probably just gonna go on to something else. There are no electronics, things like that in there. Those things are all kept in storage containers. Just before I left New Mexico, after all the projects we did to Jade, I picked up one of these extreme cold military surplus bags. Being extreme cold bags filled with down feathers, they're pretty thick, as you can see. Without throwing them in a compression sack, this is about the size that they're gonna be with kind of a everyday quick roll it up and throw it in the Jeep and go. What we found early on is that throwing them in the compression sacks every single day, it took a lot of time, and honestly it just became cumbersome. And when it's one thing to do it for a weekend, but when you are doing it every single day, you don't want to have to throw these in a compression sack and you know, tighten the living bejesus out of them. You want to be able to just do this. You know, it takes 30 seconds, you're good to go. So we needed a bag that was going to be big enough to fit 2 sleeping bags in. My duffel bag from Basic. When it comes to your sleeping bag, if this thing gets wet, you're SOL. So I'm not going to depend on some spray. It's invaluable having a dry sleeping bag. You need to have a dry sleeping bag. As soon as this thing gets wet, it's like a wet towel. It's useless. Now I am gonna keep this and use it as a protective layer. But in between this and the sleeping bags, this is a 65 liter dry bag. It's 38 inches by 25 inches. It's a pretty big dry bag. It says Big River on it. It's made for, you know, going on kayaks and whitewater rafting and all that stuff to keep your gear dry. I got the compression sacks if I need them, but like I said, when you do this every single day, I wouldn't call it being lazy to not want to do it. I call it just, you don't want to waste your time. Real time, it took about a minute to shove it in here. And there's definitely room for a second one. With the compression sacks, you can add at least 5-6 minutes. There we go. Perfect. Sleeping bags are covered. Now when it comes to the tent that we lost, it was actually a French military surplus tent, and it was called the Troop Tent. I was able to get it off Coleman's Military Surplus, an online store. The reason I got it is because the dimensions were 60 by 80 and my roof rack is 54 by 72. Just a little bit longer and a little bit wider, and a rectangle. Over the last 2 years I've had multiple rooftop tent companies reach out to me, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want it to take up the whole entire roof of Jade and not be able to, basically to sleep on the roof you have to unfold the tent. With the configuration I'm running, only with inclement weather do I have to throw up the pup tent, and I've only thrown it up once in the last 2.5 months. Now, moving out to the East Coast, I feel like we are probably going to get more rain. I was in very dry climate areas, so I'm prepared to use that. But the other thing is that these rooftop tents, man, they're like $1,000. And this pup tent, 60 bucks. It worked great. The longer it was up on the roof, it actually started to conform. I kid you not, it started to conform to the specs of the rooftop. So it ended up being really tight when I threw it up last, and it was perfect. When it comes to replacing it, I want to replace it with the same exact thing. So we stopped at a military surplus store right here in Cincinnati, and they didn't have anything. I ordered another one online, but it's going to be a week. I want to keep moving on the road as fast as I can, so I ordered it to Maine, and we'll pick it up then. In the meantime, we're gonna need something to protect us in case, you know, a big storm comes through. So, a tarp. Just a regular heavy duty 3-ply construction 12-foot by 16-foot silver/brown reversible tarp. It's a freaking tarp. Long enough to go from bumper to bumper and from side to side. I got some nice carabiner rope tighteners, which I'm gonna throw paracord on to secure it. We're probably gonna end up using it, so stick around, it should be entertaining. In the case of inclement weather, storms, hail, hopefully not hail, whatever it may be, we got a big giant tarp to throw over us. When it comes to sleeping on the roof, right now I have this piece of plywood, as you see here, bolted on. It has tons of support bars from the roof rack. Works out very slick. Super duper slick, I like it. Look how slick it is. Perfect. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna sleep great tonight. It's finally cooled off too. I don't know about you, but that heat wave, man, it's been killer. Bass Pro Shops model, low profile hiking. You might be thinking, aren't you worried about rolling off? Well, it cradles you. It really does. So, I mean, you're gonna have to go over the bar, yeah, and then like, I don't know, I just don't roll that much in my sleep. It hasn't been an issue. I've slept on it for close to 3 months now. Now I gotta think Vic, he freaking bought these. I'm like, Vic, why are you buying those? He wanted to support us. He's like, dude, I'm just glad you guys made it here and are safe. Let me get you guys these cots. They're honestly an upgrade from our other ones. The other ones are just an Amazon brand. I mean, I always like to go through Amazon. You get to read the reviews, things like that. This one is an upgrade. You can see right here, if you see this little tab, this tab sits in this insert here, so that the legs don't slide around, and that was the issue we were having with our other ones. The legs would slide around and then they would fold on themselves, and then one side of the cot would actually collapse. So these have little grooves in there so they seat right in. They're not gonna move around. If you're looking at doing a really easy setup, get a cot, get a pup tent, and get a piece of plywood and throw it on your roof rack if you have one. I love this setup, I really do. The cot is very low profile. Doesn't look ridiculous, and once that pup tent is over both cots, it doesn't look bad at all. It covers them up, all blends in. Cargo net up here and the pup tent, you guys have seen how it looks. It's just nice having everything set up. And the last thing that was destroyed was the solar panels. I'm gonna see about getting one 100-watt solar panel. It'll be super lightweight, just throw it up here under the cargo net, and then that's the only thing I'll have to pull off to be able to sleep up here. We're in pretty good shape now to get back on the road, which is awesome. Can't wait to get to Maine. Never been there, and I know it's gonna be so beautiful. Can't wait to meet some Easterners, finally, since I've been out west for the last 2 years. So, last thing I gotta do though is an oil change on Jade. Putting on a lot of miles this year, and feels like I'm changing the oil all the time, but you know, rebuilt engine, gotta keep that thing in tip-top shape, so I'm gonna quick do an oil change, and then it is time for some thank yous. I would like to thank Caleb Wyatt Lemmy, Alex Garcia, and Megan Thorne for becoming Patreon pledges and supporting this journey. You guys, thank you so much. Jesse. It's weird being in Jesse, especially without a mustache. Mustaches, they got a way of changing people. Got magic powers.